There's a lot of lessons learned from Logitech, what they did from the very beginning well. They called it Carbon Clarity, their initiative, because it's about really educating themselves internally as making it a KPI and also educating the consumer. So to making it a normal information and working with a high rigor on credibility. So no communication that they do related to sustainability and the sustainability performance that goes out, which is not third-party verified. So they really look at credibility from the very beginning. And I've seen a change also in their communication. It used to be on the carbon label, the amount of CO2 equivalents that product is causing across its life cycle, and then below a carbon neutral. Because Logitech does a lot of investments in compensating and removing carbon. But it's now changed, at least I've seen it in the sustainability report, that it is carbon impact, that it's showing carbon impact without showing carbon neutrality. And that doesn't mean that they stop investing in carbon removals, but this communication of a product as being carbon neutral has been criticized, and also related to the Green Claims Directive is being criticized more, that you don't want to create the impression to the consumer, if I'm using the product, and that it doesn't matter if I consume and if I use that product all the time because, it's cool, it's carbon neutral. So that carbon neutrality claims are considered to be, to a certain extent, misleading. Independently, if the compensation that is happening behind it is totally trusted and is really removing carbon from the atmosphere, impression to the consumer, if I use that or if I consume more, it doesn't matter to the climate. This more always matters. The whole way of communicating carbon impacts will more and more move away from carbon neutrality communication and more to really making transparent and clear where the impacts are coming from. And also, even if you are not a huge and big player, to work and engage with your supply chain. And that is also something Logitech is doing extremely well and has ambition there to work through the supply chain to get better data, to work towards the PCB and the IC, to also understand how to decarbonize these and to bring that back to their design teams. And next to the 100% of main product lines having a product carbon footprint impact label by 2050, in the same 100% of these main product lines have a life cycle assessment, and that's internal. And it's also learning when you use that information for product development, it's not really helpful to that one-dimensional. Even if the most popular KPI is carbon, to make the trade-offs visible and to have life cycle assessments in the background as important as the transparency or the carbon clarity outside. I think that is a big learning. And also Logitech started with life cycle assessment internally before they decided it's not enough internally. We want to support the literacy of the society in understanding climate impact by putting it on our products.